Welcome back. Let's talk to the senior special assistant to the president on community engagement Northwest, Mr. Abdullahi Yakasai. He joins us from our Abuja studios. Mr. Yakasai, it's good to see you. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Before we jump into politics, we just spoke about the, I'm trying to use a very cautious word, the lack of sense of accountability of people in government as it relates to engaging with the media as regularly as possible, whether it's the president or the ministers, as I said, some ministers show up more than the others, or even governors. There are governors I can count. I know of a particular governor that has only done one interview since he became governor. So I can go on and on. So I would like you to speak on that, because now you're here to talk about politics. We can't just be coming out to talk about politics. Politics paves the way for governance. At the moment, there's so much expected in governance from this government because of the oil price and all of that. So maybe talk to us, what exactly is the problem? Because we can just sit here and permutate and say, they are not responsible, they are not accountable. But you're in the presidency. Why don't people from that area come to speak? And I'm going to put a proviso. Among the three spokespersons of the president, without holding brief for him, only Boala shows up most of the time.
Okay, thank you so much. I think it is the responsibility of the media houses to be inviting, at your will, to be inviting people on relevant programs and policies of this administration of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I got a call from you, Mr. Kayode, and yesterday night I said I'm coming. So I think the presidential media team is there under the Honorable Minister of Information, that is His Excellency Mohammed Malagi, and then the essays to the President on Media are there, Mr. Bayo Nanuga, Sunday Diary, as well as the Boala you've been talking about. So it's more or less like, because Boala has a controversy, he was in opposition and now he has moved to APC, maybe you invite him most of the time. But I feel if you invite them, they will surely turn up and they'll come here.
I would like you to, I understand what you're saying, but just stick to what you know. Before we came to say what we said, we've said we can show you our messages, so we know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
All right? So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just saying, could there be a reason? It's not, go to every media house. It's our job. What else are we doing if I'm not calling you to come and explain how you govern the people? That's our work. We can show you messages.
But you've called me and I'm here.
That is you. That is you. We're just talking generally now.
Unless maybe if somebody has a genuine reason, but I don't see any reason why with these laudable programs of Mr. President, I see no reason why the people in the government will not come up and speak up to the media about the policies and the programs. So I think there's no any reason besides the fact that maybe there's commitment on their side for them not to turn up. But I believe the minister is there, the SSS are there, the SAs are there, and then the heads of the different ministries, departments, and agencies, whatever relevant topic there is in, I think people should come up and speak about the policies and programs.
All right, Ms. Ayakasai.
We'll do more. We can't do, I'm sure we're not doing 100%, but we'll keep improving and be letting the Nigerians know about these laudable programs. So anytime you have time, if you have anyone that you couldn't get his number, I'll help you bring them onto your station.
Well, I'm happy for that commitment. We also have direct access to these people. So, so we know what we're saying at the end of the day as far as this is concerned. I even say the president doesn't talk to the media as often. He only talks to the media whenever he has people in the villa. When you look at the way Trump is always engaging the media, maybe it's a presidential culture in Nigeria. But we'll move away from that, as a matter of fact. Let's talk about politics, which is one of the favorite topics politicians like to talk about. Now we have seen those movements. You're seeing the convention. Everybody's trying to get ready for the convention across party lines. But let's stick to your party, the APC. The other day we saw some alignments or would you call it realignment, if you will? Kwankwaso is in the NNPP, although he's lost the governor to the APC. The president has also perhaps made moves, I do not know, to engage him, or the APC has made moves to engage him, because getting Kwankwaso, at least you can guarantee some good numbers, and politics about numbers. But we've also seen the ADC, or some of the people in the ADC, move in that direction yesterday or 2 days ago and at the Kwankwasia event. And so there's a lot going on as far as that is concerned. Is the president concerned, or the APC concerned, about what is playing out, especially in a state like Kano? Let's begin with Kano first, and then we can talk about national.
Okay, let me start by saying Kano, as it is now, our governor, His Excellency Kabir Abba Yusuf, has joined our political party, the APC. And this is to our advantage. Because if you look at it, his joining the ruling party has brought about fundamental political gravity to Kano politics. Because the senators that are in Kano, after the 2023 elections, we had only one senator from Kano. That is distinguished Senator Barrow Aide. But after that, the senator from the Kano South, that is Senator Kawu Sumaila, came back to the APC. So they are left with one senator. And then if you look at the House of Representatives, the governor moved with 8 House of Representative members. Kano has 24 House of Reps members. He moved with 8 with our own that he met in the APC. We have about 20 out of 24. Then the advent of the coming of the governor, where we have 44 local governments in Kano State, all the chairmen of those 44 local governments are now in APC. Then the State House of Assembly, where we have 40, 22 came with the governor, and already we have few in the state. Then the Kano wards are 484, and all the councillors in those 484 are now in APC. So if you're looking at the trajectory towards 2027 election, I would say Kano is now well positioned, because in the politics of the North, Kano is very significant and is fundamental, because it swings a lot of states like Katsina, like Jigawa, Kaduna. So I think APC in Kano State, we can't thank God enough. That is one aspect. Then the second aspect is what happened in Kano, the movement of Abba from NNPP to APC is like a political coup, because we have, cut off the head of NNPP in Kano, and all the structures are now with the APC in the state. So the advantage of this to the APC is that now the funds that NNPP were using were the Kano State funds to do their town hall meetings, to do their rallies, to do a lot of things like community engagement across the 44 local governments. Now they don't have that resources again in Kano. So this will more or less give APC in Kano State a whole lot of advantage, so to say. Then if you look at the alignment of the governor, because he's moving to the ruling party APC, he has now aligned with the center. And by aligning with the center, this will tell you that a whole lot of projects will now be coming to Kano, because immediately the governor moved in. We've seen how he was able to convince the president on a very laudable project, because Kano is being choked up now with massive population explosion. So we have gotten the metropolitan rail line being approved by the federal government. There's the road infrastructure that has been given the state a big challenge because of the voluminous nature of the funding of that project. Federal government has stepped in to see how that project can be actualized. So this is the number 2 point I want to tell you, that we have positioned ourselves very well. Then the third one I want to mention is the fact that...
Mr. Yakasai?
Hello?
Why would the ruling APC deny Kano State of these rights in development prior to their defecting to the ruling party?
It's not that they were denied. It's just because he's not like aligning with the center, and so the times he normally has to engage with the center, he doesn't have it that much. But now he sees the president frequently. The day before yesterday, he was with the president. Yesterday, they were with the president before they left for Adama to receive the governor of Adama State. And today, he's together with the progressive governors, that's one of them, and going to Zamfara State to receive the Zamfara State governor. So, I mean, it's just like you now having a child, and then you said you won't feed that child, you go outside feeding others. They get their statutory allocation monthly from the Federation account. That's the whole 36 states of the Federation. But being that you're in APC, you have the chance to present and defend projects that you need federal government intervention.
Mr. Yakasai,
federal government has the right to intervene in states.
Mr.
And
Yakasai,
it has done so in other states, not only APC states, which I can give you examples.
Are these projects the right of these states or not?
They are the right of every state, so long as you can present it
why is defection,
and you can convince the federal government.
Why is defection a precondition for benefiting from these development projects that is
I'm just telling you, it's not a precondition. It's just because you have the liberty to, because you're aligning with the center, there's a whole lot of benefit to it. Just like I gave you example. The people within your personal house will get to have more access to you, more, whatever it is, resources, whatever, for you to share with them before you even look at outside. So being in APC has helped us to pull these projects to the state. A lot of other opposition states have gotten projects, interventions from federal government, but I'm telling you, if you align with the center, there's a whole lot of advantages to it.
You're just talking semantics. Until you align before you have access to the president. And so the answer is not satisfactory. But let's move forward. Wherever you turn, either it's the north central, or it's the northeast, or it's the northwest, there is a very huge challenge of insecurity. And the APC government, not just the Tinubu administration, rode to power on the promise of change and capacity to solve Nigeria's security challenge. It also rode to power on the promise of changing the narrative as far as power supply is concerned. If you look at the economy, yes, the ruling government is reporting success in the area of macroeconomics, but it's not trickling down in terms of development. And now we are having added to the mix of these challenges the instability in the Middle East that is trickling down back home, seen in the increasing pump price of petrol. Based on all these challenges, we can say that the ruling party has not delivered on its promises. And so should this government be re-elected in 2027 based on this long list of failures that we're enumerating?
You see, the type of insecurity that is bothering this country is a guerrilla warfare. It's very hard to tackle. We've come from this long time back. It's been happening, and you can't just blame this government for it. But what I want to say is the security situation in some parts of the country have really been subdued, you know. But there's some elements of new tactics coming up, like the ones we're seeing in Kwara State. Very unfortunate. Even the president is having sleepless nights because every week or every other week you see him having a security council meeting. This happens almost every week in the presidential villa. And why is he having this meeting? Is to see how to curb this insecurity. So you cannot, when you're fighting insurgents, it's not a direct war that, you know, is confrontational. You wouldn't know from where they will come. And I'm telling you, there's hand in, you know, this kind of insecurity issues. We cannot just say is a coordinated, you know, insecurity situation where you have to blame. There are some elements that are, you know, against this government, that are instigating this kind of insecurity situation just to give the new government a bad name. But I'm telling you, Mr. President is not happy with the situation, because some places where we know there was this massive insecurity, like between Abuja to Kaduna, it has really subsided. Now we don't see that insecurity challenge in those areas. And then this in Zamfara State, for example, hardly do you hear these days there is that insecurity. But they've changed tactics, because it's guerrilla warfare, just like I said. You know, they've changed tactics, and now they moved away from those areas. They moved, you know, to Niger State, Kwara State, and immediately Mr. President appointed the IG of police. His first point of call was to go to Kwara State, and not only to the capital, Ilorin, he went as far as to Kayama, where these incidences are happening. So we're doing our best as the government, but we know a lot needs to be done to curb this insecurity. And I believe with time, by God's grace, if all hands are put on deck, it will continue to come down till we get to eliminate the insecurity situation.
Right, so you've talked about, or at least you've said that the APC has laudable projects, Mr. Yakasai, and really the desire is that the electorate is, you know, much more clinical in their approach to selecting who they will vote for. So it's not just about dancing and all of the things we see during campaigns. It's about the hard facts. So I want you to speak to one of those hard facts, because you'll be selling this party yet again to the people in your region and to Nigerians. In terms of what this government has done, case in point, the recent hike in the price of petrol. Petrol now sells, and I know it sells for much more in the northern part of the country, but in the south sells for 1,300 and more. We've seen other governments in other countries do different things just to ensure that that pain is eased on the citizenry. So let's use this as an example. So sell this APC government to Nigerians based on its response in the past 1 month to the war in Iran, and by extension the price of petrol here in Nigeria.
Okay, just yesterday I saw the chairman, the president of Dangote refinery, His Excellency Aliko Dangote, was with Mr. President in Lagos, and he went to see him on these issues. And what Dangote said was part of these measures we have to look at, because this is a global challenge. It's not just Nigeria. The whole world over, this issue of the Middle East crisis has affected everyone in terms of energy sector. So one of the things I had Aliko Dangote suggestion is for us to see how we can maybe make people work from home. This will make them maybe come like twice to the offices physically, and then they can work virtually, so that we reduce the burden in that aspect. But be it as it may, we have already, from day one, Mr. President has said subsidy is gone, and it is gone. The only thing that people will want to see is the advent of bringing back that subsidy, because if Aliko Dangote is a private developer, and anywhere in the world now, the price of crude has never gone up to this magnitude, to about 120 over dollars per barrel. So that means you have to sell Aliko Dangote crude oil, or we buy crude oil from elsewhere, you know, at this price, and then subsidize it to Dangote refinery for him to sell at the previous price, which was obtainable before the crisis in the Middle East.
All right.
And we can't go back to subsidy. To be honest with us, we can't go back to subsidy. This is a temporary challenge. And I think over time, once the crisis is over, things will go back to the way they are. So we have to think outside the box and see how we can manipulate, how we can go around this issue of the crisis in the Middle East.
Yeah, I wish we had more time with you so that we can engage you further. While you're saying you're thinking outside the box, you're still thinking some countries are planned till June already. But I must thank you for your honesty. However, some of your admissions by how politicians run countries, shameful, obnoxious, and offensive to the spirit of the Constitution. You admitted about, the NNPP using state resources. Now, all of that will go to APC. So APC perhaps will now use state resources, being partisan in economic intervention because you have to connect to the center. If you read section 16, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution says, the state shall, within the context of ideals and objectives for which provisions are made in this Constitution, control the national economy in such a manner as to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every citizen on the basis of social justice and equality of status and opportunity. So all of this intervention, because you're partisan, is against the spirit of the Constitution, and it's very shameful. But we must thank you for your honesty. You are the second person from Kano that is admitting to this. Thank you, Mr. Abdullahi Yakasai, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement, Northwest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a break. We'll get to the point of accountability, what played out in courts, and what it means for you and I. Stay with us.